questions that get to the root.
The previous election had allegations of rigging.
Nobody has been able to prove that 2018 elections were rigged.
I tell you the history behind the news.
I need to take you back. I need to give you a bit of history. Now, Zimbabwe got its independence.
I cut through spin and show you the facts.
No, Coyote, I will let you talk. Coyote, I will let you if you let me talk. Coyote.
That's the reason why more and more Lagosians are tuning.
570,000.
130,000 people on.
It's actually now 607,000 people listening to Hard Fact. I know what they're looking for. I am Ezekwesili, and these are your hearts.
Hello, ladies. Good afternoon. I'm Sandra Ezekwesili, and these are your hard facts. A great show. All 674,000. I like seeing that number. It's such a huge number. Thank you so much for being a part of this community, the Hard Facts community. We're going to kick off with the big three. Let's talk about Amuwo-Odofin youths trying to recall their state lawmaker. Then we're going to talk about the Northern Governors Forum calling for regulation. Censorship, actually, is the way used of social media. Let's talk about how the police is reacting to us. Because it's Tuesday, so at 3:45 to talk fintech with Valentine. Remember, you can answer our big three questions on Twitter, on Facebook, Nigeria Info FM. Nigeria Info FM on Twitter, Nigeria Info 99.8 on Facebook. So get on and interact with us. We're going to have a very, very quick show. On today's hard fact, let's talk the Lagos State Judicial Panel on SARS and the Lekki shooting. On right now, interesting reports are coming out of the field. I'll be talking to Efyong, who is a filmmaker. He made Up North. He also made a bunch of great work that we'll be talking about. But he's a member of the public who has been attending hearings. So we'll talk to him about what exactly. Now, today, we'll talk about a different community. We'll talk about the U.S. It's Community Report. But this Tuesday, we'll talk about the U.S. It's a special episode. And Baba is, you know Baba now, the youngest foreign analyst ever to appear on Nigerian media. He's back on Hard. And we're going to be talking about the general election in America tonight. So look out for that from 4 p.m. That's when that's going your way. Right now, let's bring you today 3.
This is the
Big Three
on Hard Fact 99.3 Night Info.
All right, Lagos, on Facebook, Nigeria Info tonight. Should the recall process be made easier? That's a question for you on the show today. Should the recall process be made easier? That's the first question. Second question that I'm on the show today. Do you think that all these calls to regulate social media have gotten a bit much? Why all the calls to regulate social media? And have the police responded properly to the call to end brutality? Those are the big three, Lagos. Let's talk. Our first story, the attempt to recall a Lagos lawmaker. I'm talking about Mojisola Alimaka. She's the member of the House of Assembly in Amuwo-Odofin. And on Friday, we talked about some of the comments that she made on the House about youths. Remember? If you don't, I'm going to play it for you once again, and you can also watch it on our Facebook live stream.
Look at the children these days, the youths. I like your submission, Mr. Speaker, that it is not unemployment that should be the bane or the reason why youths will come out and begin to misbehave. There are unemployments in so many countries of the world, even in the United States. I schooled in the UK, and I saw a lot of young people who were not employed, but they didn't become hoodlums. Why can't we look inwards and look for solutions to our problems? Why can't the young people look within themselves, look for their talents? Even if as graduates, what stops you from becoming a designer or a professional tiler or what have you, and make a brand of it? There is no excuse for being a hoodlum. Mr. Speaker, I think it is about time. I mentioned this on the floor of the House. Ab initio, we became members of the Ninth Assembly, that the National Orientation Agency needs to set to work. We need to begin to orientate our young people. They need people who can talk to them from time to time. They are high on drugs all the time, most of them. They go to social media, they do all sorts of things. I'm even scared to give my young children phones because I'm scared I don't know what they would see on the social media. It's that bad. We need to set the National Orientation Agency to work, the National Population Commission. We need to have data. We need to have statistics of our citizens. We need to know who is what and where. We need to be able to identify our people. And Mr. Speaker, this is my humble submission in conjunction with what Honorable Rotimi Olowo has said, that a committee be set up to look into this carnage. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
All right. And I guess what she said there did not go over well with some youth in her constituency, because now a group of them is trying to recall her. They're called the Amuwo-Odofin Stakeholders Consultative Forum, AOSCF. By the way, a recall is a way to attack an elected official. The Constitution, if you want to remove a lawmaker, you have to submit a recall petition to INEC. The petition must have the signatures of at least half the registered voters in the constituency. Once you submit that to INEC, they must hold a referendum in 90 days. Basically, the referendum will ask, should this official be sacked? And people will vote yes or no. That's what a recall is. So this group, the AOSCF, has launched the petition, and now they want to gather signatures. And they gave 6 reasons in the petition for why Mrs. Ali Makale should be removed. This group is claiming that, number 1, she does not have a functional constituency office as required by law within the constituency for almost 2 years in office. Number 2, she has not prepared any bill aimed at improving the lives of her constituents and, by extension, Lagos State. Number 3, her continuous representation is totally against the well-being of her constituents. Number 4, it is widely related on major social media platforms that she used COVID-19 palliative items as gifts at her last birthday party. Number 5, she has refused to give account of stewardship at the Lagos State House of Assembly since she assumed office. Number 6, she has also religiously remained accessible since she is office. 6 allegations. Those are the allegations that they're making against her. And that's the reason they're giving for instituting the recall. Now, I'm not here today to discuss the merits of whether or not she should be recalled. I'm here to talk about the recall process itself. Now, remember that I said for this thing to work, you need to get the registered voters in the area to sign the petition. And then INEC has to hold an election in 80 days. If INEC doesn't hold the election, the process has lapsed. So you have a lot of people who the Constitution has made recall too difficult. I mean, how easy is it to get half the voters in a register to sign a petition? So they think the Constitution needs to be amended so that it can lower the requirements to 5% of voters or 10% of votes. But some other people have said that the current requirements are okay. After all, if you want to remove a lawmaker, surely you should have the support of half the votes. Now, those who want to lower the process are also saying, how often do half the registered voters turn up even for election? Are saying that in practical terms, places more than half the registered are usually inactive politically. Acquiring half the signatures for a recall is unrealistic. They believe to give Nigerians more power, let it be easy to trigger a recall. And then, if the people want the lawmaker, they can come out on recall day and vote no. For example, California, to trigger a recall, of signatures must equal 12% of the number who voted in the last election. 12% is 12% of those who actually voted, and that's a much lower number. So do you think, Lagos, that our recall requirements in Nigeria are too high? Do you think getting 50% of registered voters to sign the petition is too difficult a target? Or do you think it's okay? Do you think it should be easier to trigger recalls so that people have more of a say? Or do you think it should be harder so that we can have more stability? 0700 993 993 993 0700 993 993 993. You can tweet at us at Nigeria Info FM. You can also share your thoughts on Facebook. Facebook is Nigeria Info 99.3. Nigeria Info 99.3. Let's talk to you now. Hello.
Hello?
Thanks for calling. What's your name?
I'm doing well. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, sir. What's your name?
You're speaking to Chris.
Chris, welcome to the show. Go ahead.
Yeah. My dear Sandra, honestly speaking, just like you said, it's extremely hard to have a successful recall in our school nature here in Nigeria, honestly, because I recall that was in case during when Dino Melai was in the Senate. I mean, there was a recall process which was actually at the end it wasn't successful because of this. So it's for me, I'm recommending let them lower it, just like pointed out as the case of American homes. Let them lower it a bit so that you can a decision more quicker. Because look, I know Amuwo-Odofin very well. I mean, that was my early days in Lagos. I stayed there, so I know I know how polarized the place is. So getting those signatures is going to be extremely hard.
I see.
Thank you.
Thanks for calling, Chris. Chris, I appreciate it. Emmanuel is in Lagos Island. Emmanuel, welcome to the show.
Yes, hi. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, a quick one. I'd just like to please share my thoughts. As far as the relevance of 50% goes, at least 50%, I don't think it's bad.
Okay.
And I'm saying it as a 25-year-old. But importantly is the rise in the need for to effectively take hold of the opportunities we're given. It brings the consciousness to those that represent various constituencies. The people are watching. 50 for a ridiculous requirement just means half of you who are constantly watching, who voted, or half of you start voters, should come out and plead your cause. You know, it also, in senses, would represent the voice of the majority airing their concerns. And then if in a true fact, majority of people support that person who is being voted, they would come out and for the person to remain in place. As far as what this woman said, it is utter. That's just well. Okay. But for the most part, she dare not sit again if there was a convention of they erected a tent and those who are local constituency came out and telling them if they don't have jobs, go and become. I studied law in Unilag. What we did to lecturers who were always down our cause when we were protesting. So she dare not. I'm sure she has regretted it, and the fact that it blew up bigger than what she expected. It is good the way it is, and we are watching. They would never us in this nation. My told me that they respected our cause at Tollgate. A lot of parents are reckoned with our cause. So the filth in government, from the core level to the high level, they will be rooted. It will take time. It will take years of pain, but they will be rooted out. Thank you.
Thank you, Emmanuel, for calling us. We've got Rinleki on the phone. Hello, Richard. Welcome.
Hello, good afternoon, Nigerian Info.
Good afternoon, Richard. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you very much. My take on this issue is, number one, the political activism was dead completely before EndSARS. Okay. And what we need to do, both the young and the old, is to let the elected officials, whether they were elected or selected, to know that the people are there.
Now, so we're not talking about political activism.
We're talking about recall.
Yes.
The recall mechanism in the Constitution is okay. The recall mechanism is okay.
Okay.
It is done like that so that we don't have frivolity.
Okay.
But my vision is that the people who are concerned, now that this honorable member make this silly remarks, the people there now, she will know that, yes, beginning from now, my constituents, they are alive to whatever I'm doing. And therefore, she will have to learn her lessons. So that it is not only to the Amuwo-Odofin people, but to the Nigerian populace. Let us be active. Like you were saying, they should review the recall mechanism. If the recall mechanism needs to be reviewed, we don't have to ask them. We don't need to plead with them. We take the cause to the National Assembly. Let them know that we are involved. We can no longer be sitting down and begging. Go on newspaper and beg. We march down there. Let them know that they are in the minority. It is our vote that kept them there. Thank you very much.
Thank
and
you.
I really appreciate your good job.
I appreciate you as well, Richard. Thank you so much for calling us. We'll take a final call from our Debbie, because remember, of course, that we need to be able to wrap things up for Valentine to take over at 3:45. Debbie, how are you?
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Is that Debbie?
Yes.
Yes, madam.
Uh-huh.
Yes, concerning the speech of the woman, I think she's right. The youth that have been calling, I would like them to sample our opinion when they are going on the joint. Those people where they used to take this Nigeria and so on and so forth. Look at the age range. It's a challenge to them. They are the future of tomorrow. What I'm saying is that it's a wake-up call on the political issue. You see, how many of them have cards? How many of them are ready to vote? How many of them voted are? You see, most of the people that voted, they are multi-party members. And those party members that I'm talking about, they were party members because of the little maybe Gary or rice they are giving them. Until when we have seriousness to this thing, ready to participate fully. It's again that.
Oh, Debbie, sorry about that, but thank you so much for calling us. All right, our second story. The Northern Governors Forum is calling for social media to be censored. The Northern Governors had a meeting yesterday, mostly to talk about the EndSARS protests and everything that happened after the EndSARS protests. And they made quite a few resolutions at that meeting. Now, for the purpose of this story, there's just one of them that I will need you to pay attention to.
In the North, collectively agreed that traditional rulers be given formal roles in the governance architecture of the country. The meeting rejects and condemns the subversive actions of EndSARS protests, the superlative agitations and other change regime actions outside the ballot box soon take advantage of the peaceful protest to push for their separative agenda. The meeting endorsed the indivisibility, indissolubility, and honest of the nation. The meeting took note of the devastating effect of the uncontrolled social media spreading fake news. Therefore, was major control mechanism and censorship of the social media practice in Nigeria.
The meeting took note of the devastating effect of the uncontrolled social media in spreading fake news. Therefore, calls for major control mechanisms and censorship of the social media practice in Nigeria. End quote. So the Northerners are saying that social media was used to spread fake news. Therefore, social media should be censored and restricted by government. Now, as you can imagine, social media are not taking kindly to this. There was a lot of reaction to the statement yesterday on Twitter, on Facebook, on WhatsApp, most of it negative. Now, let's remember that this is not the first time in the last couple of weeks where we've seen government officials talk about restricting social media. On Friday, we talked about the members of the Lake's House of Assembly talking about it. Desmond Elliott was accused of supporting it, but he came out to say that he was misunderstood and that he will never support the laws or government power to social media. Some of his colleagues disagreed with him. Mohammed, the information minister, also came to call for regulation of social media. Now, let me say this. Fake news is a problem. Here on Hard Facts, I spent a lot of time debunking fake news myself. All over the world, fake news is a problem. This is not a Nigerian problem. It's a problem all over the world. But those who oppose censorship of media will say things to you like, we already have mechanisms for battling fake news. So to them, there's no need for government to take any extra steps or be given any extra powers. We have libel and slander laws, so anyone spreading malicious lies can be tried in court. Seriously. If you are on Twitter like I am, you will see people going back and forth, trying left, right, and center. They're suing each other. What you tweeted was false. I'm suing you for libel. What you tweeted was false. I'm taking you to court. It is happening every day on Twitter. So if somebody comes and lies against Davido now, Davido can sue the person for libel and they will go to court and the person will pay heavy money in damages. We already have that law. So to people who make that argument. They say there's no need to take any extra steps. We also have slander laws. And with these laws, libel and slander, it doesn't matter if the person shared the lies online or in a book or in a newspaper or on TV. Libel is libel. Slander is slander. So those who oppose social media censorship are saying there is no need to treat social media and the fake news that comes from social media as if it's some new type of slander or libel that needs new laws. It's the same thing as before. Now, other opponents of censorship also say that it's going to do more harm than good. People tell lies in a market. Does that mean that we should shut down the markets? People tell lies on their pulpits or in their mosques. Does that mean we should shut religious centers? People pick pockets in markets. Should we shut down the markets? Or should we catch the thieves? Because when you think about it, isn't social media just a very big market? 0700-993-993-993. Isn't social media just a very big market? What do you think about what the Northern Governors Forum has said? What do you think about the call to censor social media?
Thank you. Been a minute. Good to be back here.
Yes, welcome.
You see, this whole social media thing, I would like to start with the whole fake news thing. I'm sorry to say, no disrespect to our older generation, because they were here before us, but we don't like ourselves. We know that they're like highly forwarded fast. Now then go first convince you of how the thing did, of how they take reader for Facebook, or how they take the one group for what. My man no be exemption. Follow the. Then go say these things. And then when you are even correct them as the only the generation, but the happening guys now start to drag with you that what do you know? You here before me. Now waiting I see until once here they will constantly gaslight you on top. So we should first know that this before they come and drag the home with us, first look at the older generation. Then second, I think that everyone is concerned about polling this media is because it's the strongest power at the moment. I think before whether the judiciary was the last common man, I say was because I did that the correct thing. But right now it looks like the social media has been able to create media space, especially for everyone to have hope. Social media has the money for people. Social media don't send people children go school. It don't still put people in trouble. But all in all, with social media shook the whole world, not Lagos. With 28 million tweets for only that EndSARS thingy, I think everybody should not be scared of our own. You will just have to be. I mean, the whole normal traditional media and TV that is being censored within the work. So if you can't go on social media, don't worry yourself too much. All this one was gaslight because the fear, you know, it happen last year. Man, they go. I don't tire.
Bye-bye. We've got Yakubu. Yakubu, how are you? Welcome.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You're going to make a contribution.
Yes, go ahead.
I support the idea of Facebook and my social censorship.
Okay.
I support the idea to censor social media. Reason being that if anybody can fake news, if Facebook don't, before you go to correct it, it will encourage lies.
I see.
For that simple reason, we should discourage the act of fake news on social media.
Okay, Yakubu, for calling us. We've got Sam on the line. Hello, Samuel. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, my name is Samuel. I'm calling from...
Samuel, put your radio off. Go ahead.
I want to talk about these social things.
What do you think about the Northern Room calling for censorship to social media?
To me, I don't think they... Because they all came to power the process of social media. You know what they did during the regime with Sahara reporter. Hello?
Yes, I can hear. Good.
Giving us fake news then. Jonathan did that. You understand? But now it's telling us they don't want us to use it again. They don't want us to talk about their looting. They don't want us to talk about pride. That's why they came up now saying they want us to regulate it. Let us leave it that way.
Okay. All right, Samuel, thanks for it. My final call is Christopher Uniko. How are you?
President Sandra, good afternoon.
What's wrong with your voice?
I'm on long time no talk, my sister.
Yeah,
Thank you. For me, I don't know, like the last call I said, during the regime, is there anything like social media? Hello,
Yeah, there
President.
was social media.
How can then they care about regulating on social media? The Northern governor now, I've been out in Nigeria for the past 5 or 6 years. So now this is going wrong. You're not doing the right thing. Doing the right thing. You just said, and people will call, and you will cut their call, or you caution this is not proper what they're saying. That Calvin telling, I've been calling, no, I don't have if I have my way. Lying 2015, I speak with 20. If I have my way, I will sue him because he tells me, which is not happening now. He didn't know what they would do. Then I say, look, you have Jonathan. So when he goes out during the election, we say, oh, Lai Mohammed and he bring these suggestions and he walk out to move Nigeria. Said no, that is shooting himself on the foot. Please tell all sorts of stories, and we believe. No, they believe them, not me. I didn't believe. But today, you are not crying about social media. President Sandra, thank you very much.
Thank you, Christopher, for calling on. To agree with those who say that government doesn't need any more powers over social media because the libel and slander, cybercrimes laws already exist, and government should just enforce them better. Now, we have someone to Yakubu. What about news in other media? What about when government's the one offering you fake news? How about what happens when government is not offering the fake news? We've got come on social media. This person says media has come to stay. Any attempt by government to regulate it will be resisted by Audrey Joseph from Lagos with that comment. Ogochukwu Dental from Aja says leaders are not sincere. If then to fight fake news, proactive in sending details and speak as possible. Imagine begging Buhari to address the nation. We've also got a few extras here. The everyday Nigerians are not honorary Nigerians. Oh, that's not hard fast, but thank you for sending it in. I think that's a message for Sunny Side. For our third story, let's go around the country a bit. Shall we come back to taking calls? But let's go around. Let's take a look at how the police react to the EndSARS protests. Are they changing? Are they making any efforts? What effort king? Here in Lagos, former officials are finally being debriefed. That 3 weeks ago when the Inspector General disbanded SARS, he said all SARS should report to Abuja for debrief and psychological evaluation. The IG, of course, is Mohammed Adam. Ever since Adamu gave that order, people are asking, how far? SARS men, how far? How far the debriefing now? Well, we're hearing that for Lagos, it's not going to happen in Abuja. It's happening here starting today. Hakeem Odumosu said. He's the State Commissioner for Police. And he says that the officers will have their cycle here, and then they'll be retrained in things like commitments and human rights. Now, it raises some questions, like how come the order for all of them to go to wasn't obeyed before? How come it has taken 3 weeks to start this debrief? But there's a bigger question, Seth. This exercise make them into better off? We've talked about training within the police over and over and over. So the question is, can the police force be expected to know officers properly? And speaking of training, you've seen the videos from the SWAT training. Yes, the police officers at the squad to replace SARS. And they released some video training, and a lot of Nigerians are commenting on those videos. If you call in and tell me your thoughts on videos. If you haven't seen them, get on at the moment and watch a live stream of it. We've got Tunde. Make sure that you can watch that video for yours. Meanwhile, watching that in Edo State, Governor Obaseki is having to plead with the police to return to the posts. They say the governor is saying that the police have relaxed, that their journey to send the wrong message to criminals. Now, a lot of people cannot talk about this. Some people say that if the police hound, it's because they are worried for their safety. But other people are saying they would not punish Nigerians for asking them to do their job or because some criminals struck them. What do you think? 00993. Has the police reacted well in the aftermath? What do you think about the Lagos command starting the of SARS Penel? What are the delay? 3 weeks ago. They're just starting today. What do you think about the Punch story about Governor pleading with the police to return to work? And yes, you can still talk about the social media story. What do you think about the Northern Governors calling for censorship media? Do you agree with those who say the government doesn't need to censor social media because there are libel laws, there are slander laws, there are incitement laws, there are cybercrime act laws, and government just needs to enforce those laws, doesn't need new laws? And what do you call process? Should we simplify our recall process? Sam is in Akawonjo. Hello, Sam.
Okay, yeah, good.
Good evening.
Oh, okay, fine. Oh well, my own, my own point of view consists and via SWAT or whatever is fine. It is not that these people that even if we really look at it very well, we discuss everybody have their own stance. Okay, they have their own existing rule of engagement and regulations that bind them up. But the problem we have been having even has to do with our own governance. Yes, is the implementation of some of these things. Yeah, even if the new trend of people comes now, it is not me that these guys, as time goes on, still not, go back. I'm telling you. Yes, if is not taking, but if we have a vibrant and an active instant law guiding these people, let everybody be made accountable for their actions and their actions until we get to that particular level. Yes, all these kind of things will just be a kind of window dressing and a waste of time. Okay, so no matter what, fine if they go for psychoanalysis or psycho examination or thereabout, or is it making until the whole system. And the only way whereby the system could be flushed out is that when we have implementation of what fine somebody kill or somebody brutalize somebody, there is a law, there is a rule guiding that. Okay, so bring it to pass, bring it to the fore. Okay, I think that all those people that have done one thing or the other, brutalized or whatever, maltreated, done a lot of things, in human activities, to these people in time past have been brought to book.
Right.
The trend could have been tamed. But because let me give you an instance as I'm rounding up. This particular guy is he was a younger brother of my friend, so to say.
Yeah.
This Colade Johnson
Right.
that happened in Mangoro,
Right.
April 7,
Yeah.
around 2:30.
Yeah.
That's for you to know. It's a close relation. Okay,
Yeah.
so it happened that time. Fine, I know that particular officer. His name is I think Ogunyemi. So I don't know whether Sunday Ogunyemi. That was that inspector. Okay, now even Governor Baba Jide Sanwo-Olu came to our estate that time to come and console with the family.
Right.
You could imagine that since that time, if not because of this EndSARS, whatever, the only thing we knew that time was when the thing was, in the heat. After like 1 or 2 months, everything died down. We didn't know what happened again. Not until when this EndSARS of it now erupted. I don't know if I get it. So fine, somebody did that kind of a thing, kill, an active, living, a healthy young man like that.
Yeah.
For nothing, wasted his life, and nothing happens thereafter. How sweet would it have been if fine, this aspect of being identified was brought to and there is a kind of open legal being taken again. Somebody that is sentenced to 12 years or whatever. Everybody will know. Then that one will give a recall to somebody that wants that kind of a thing again.
All right, Sam, thanking us. We're out of time, so I can't take any more calls. Ruben, apologies. We've got David on WhatsApp who says, Sandra, the government used social media to finish Jonathan. They used social media to lie. The media records are there. All their promises, they told us via social media. Now, all the promises that are not true, and they want to regulate social media because it's now against them. Funny. All right, David, thank you for sending your message in. Something's going on with my WhatsApp, and so I'm not able to access the messages as quickly as I would like to. But let me come to Facebook, where Simeon Ojewola says the government is not doing well by trying to arrest those who helped free those arrested illegally on EndSARS protests. And the government wants youth leaders to come to the table. Very shameful. Alai Bobmano says, I think the requirements are almost impossible to meet. Like the California example, many of these lawmakers don't even have up to 100k votes, and 12.5% is attainable. It's a simple case of voting confidence or no confidence. Ezo Kohli Michael Dubaim says, embarking on this recall process is a good idea and a wake-up call to our politicians, but I don't see how this will be achieved because the requirements are too high to meet. Ajayi Olumide says, please note that the recall procedure is not realistic because most of the electorate that participated in election were paid to perform their civic right. Amina Akintola says, why are they the only ones against it? Maybe because majority there are illiterate. We've got Joseph Jesus who says, The Northern Governors Forum should know that social media contributed immensely for them to come into office. Amuwo-Odofin says it cannot be denied that social media users have put the various social media outlets to wrong use. Fake news is a threat to us all, and I toe the line of any measure that is aimed at curtailing fake news. Fake news is nothing but lies telling rebranded. Even the holy books are against telling lies. Yes, indeed. But like I asked earlier on, people lie in the market. People lie even using regular media. Should we shut down all media organizations? Should we shut down all markets? Is that what needs to happen? Huh? People pick pockets in the market. Should we close all markets? Should we not instead enforce the laws that we already have? Libel, slander, incitement. We even have the Cyber Act law as well. Cyber Crimes Act as well. We've got a lot of laws. Do we really, really need a new law? Do we really need new laws? Because the libel is not new. The slander is not new. It's the same kind of libel, the same kind of slander. Do we need new laws? Because that's what fake news is. Fake news is lying that something happened when it didn't happen. Can you not simply enforce the laws you already have? Why do you need new laws? Why do you need new laws? Lagos, that's all we have time for on today's Big Three. Coming up is Valentino who with the FinTech show. That's coming up at 45. I'm Sandra Ezekwesili. Thank you so much for being a part of this show. Coming up at 4, we'll have a conversation about America's elections. Let's let Nigeria rest a bit and talk about America's upcoming elections. That's from 4 to 5. I have Baba coming back on the show. Baba is a young 7-year-old that knows a lot about American elections. Then 5 to 6, we'll talk about the Lagos State Judicial Panel. A lot of drama happening there. I've got big news coming up, 5 p.m. Don't go away.